Annyeonghaseyo! Welcome to Afternoona Delight, where Leah, Megan, and Amy, romance novelists and your K-romance guides. So grab some dekboki and listen to your new favorite unnies. Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Hi there.
Well, tonight's our Uncensored, so I think this is a episode of banter, so we're not going to really, take our normal banter time and then segue. We're just going to, weave it through the entire night.
Which I'm excited for it Uncensored. I'm excited to just chat.
I know.
We haven't done one since November.
It feels like a long time, yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Because we didn't do one in December, so yeah.
We didn't?
No.
Why would we not do it in December? Oh, because no. Wait.
There was travel. We were gone. Maybe we did do it.
Or maybe we did. But it feels like it's been... Look, we did it last year. Okay.
December Uncensored.
Okay.
A look back at 2024. Thank you.
Whatever.
Very
much. We could have put it out in December and recorded it in November too.
That's probably
we didn't do that.
Well, this is boring radio, so it's time to make it fun. And I have a question for the two of you.
Kicking it off.
Yeah, I hyped it too much because it's not that fun of a question, but I think it could be funny.
Okay.
So, only two of us have watched this drama. My question is about Squid Game.
Oh, okay.
However, my question is, who out of the three of us has the best chance of living the longest in Squid Game? Because
I don't know the games other than red light, green light. So
we have so you're not going to necessarily know, Amy, but if we're going to go off the previous games, we have games of skill, there's a lot of childhood games, like can you spin this top? Can you pick something up? Almost like a modified version of
Can you stand still enough not to get shot?
Can you stand still enough to get shot?
Essentially, there's a game called I think they call it Jeggy, but it's like hacky sack. Can you do hacky sack 5 times?
But then there's also a game where there's kind of like a carousel, like the room is there's a spinning disc in the room, and you're all on the spinning disc, and then around the room are doors, and they'll stop the disc and call out a number like 6, and that means 6 people per room. And if you don't get in a room, it's like musical chairs, like you're dead. Or they could be like 2 or 3. And so you're constantly making and breaking alliances based on what the numbers are. So you're having to be like, maybe there were 5 of you, and then there's 4. It's like, who are you kicking out so that you can try to save your ass to get in? So there's a lot of psychological battle games. So there's games of chance. There's games of psychology. There's also just when they do their special game, quote unquote, which is they just put forks in with the kimbap and say night night, and people are just fucking forking each other to death, willy nilly. Or you're trying to survive the forking.
I'm convinced that Leah would survive the longest.
I think it would be Leah because Leah is Slytherin, and Slytherin is the type of mindset that I think that you need.
And because
I think kinds of games,
I just think the universe rewards you. I'm sorry.
There is that too. The
universe rewards you, and I don't get rewarded. And I feel like I'm not saying you don't have. Problems. What I'm saying. But
I would barf on the turntable and be out before we even get to a door. So
yeah, I feel like I love Amy, but I feel like she might be the most fragile. I just think she needs her
this
thing.
Kind of thing. Yes, I am not made of stern enough stuff for this.
I just think she needs her type A thing.
If one of the games was balancing your bank account, I would live forever.
I'm convinced you could throw Leah in the wilderness and she would emerge.
Well, we know this. She's a prepper.
She would emerge
ready.
Fat and happy with a coat made of jackrabbit fur. She would somehow grit it out. Alone in the wilderness. I'm convinced that Leah could, in my mind, Leah can do that.
So first, thank you. Secondly, though, so here's my pushback, because I've wrestled with this, is clearly because I was thinking about it today. My problem, though, is my lack of coordination. So when they do the games, when they're spinning the jacks, and they're I was maybe if I can spit, I could probably flip the envelope. I was because so in the game, I mean, these aren't big spoilers, right? We're not saying who wins or loses. We're just talking about games in general. So hopefully this isn't making anyone too wild. But for one of like in this last episode or in Squid Game 2, you would be paired up. I think it was like, was it like 5 people, 6 people? So you're kind of tied together in like one long kind of like, instead of like a 3-legged race, it's like a fucking centipede,
12.
like an 18-legged race. So you're all tied together sideways. And then there's you're going in a circle and there's game stations set up. And every time you get to one of these games, it's like the childhood games. Like one's the hacky sack. One is like throw a rock and knock over like another rock. One is flip the envelope like the Gong Yu game. One is playing kind of like a Korean version of something that's very loosely connected to something like Jacks, where you're like kind of like picking up stuff. Traditionally, this is not my area of expert. Like traditionally, this is not my strong suit.
Right. I was thinking that. I mean, I would say like in my good days, I was more athletic. I still think I have some athleticism in my body. I feel like that is the only reason I would get fairly far. Like, I think I could do okay. I still think I would die very quickly, but I think I have like a decent amount of athleticism that I could do some of these games. Like, I think I could do hacky sack.
Yeah, see, I would die.
I couldn't do hacky sack. I could do jacks. Like,
yeah, this is like the they call it gongi. That's the one where you have to like catch the like jacks essentially on the back of your hand.
oh,
You've probably
And then
seen
you
it.
flip it and catch it in your
And then
palm.
you catch it, and then you flip them up, and then you have to catch them in your palm. It's really interesting. Apparently, it's a very common like girls' game because that was like the thing.
Okay.
Is everyone's like, oh, the little girls would know how to play this game, or so the women
Spinning
would
a
know.
top,
But
like-
anyway,
spinning a top, bad. So I thought maybe I could do the envelope. I feel like maybe I could do the envelope. But in general, games are bad. Give me a fork. I probably could fork. I could probably fork for my life if I needed to.
see, and I
think-
I couldn't. I don't think I could fork someone.
I think also, Leah, you'd be good at. So I think part of what, and again, I'm not giving spoilers, but part of why some people fail in Squid Game is because I think they have this like inherent belief that humanity is fair
and
good. And the people who succeed are the people who realize
who scheme
and who realize that other people are going to scheme. So I think Leah, so this is the thing I think that I would fail is I'm going to inherently believe that people are going to be kind to me, that people are going to be fair because I'm naive and gullible.
and people will exploit that about you.
And people would exploit that about me
Yeah.
easily. Whereas I think Leah would be able to know right away. I think Amy, you would too. Like, I'm not saying you'd be bad. I just know you.
No, I
and
wouldn't be. I wouldn't be like Leah. Like
Yeah.
I would hesitate to fork someone, and I would get forked.
I would try to avoid the forking altogether, I think would be like my strategy. So there were people that were just like adamantly trying to stay out of the forking. And I feel like that is a choice as well.
Yeah.
But
The hiding
if it was
smart.
like, yeah, if it was me or someone else in the fork, I wouldn't go around because some people were forking because the idea was the more people die, the bigger the pot, because they have a pot of money, right? And every time there's a game, they add money to the pot. And so the less people play, the less people are left, the more money you get. And so people aren't murdering just to be like a murderer. You're murdering because you're going to
more money in the pot.
Yeah, you're going to get more money every
Essentially,
time.
every life is worth money in Squid Game, which is, I mean, that's why when people miss the point of Squid Game, it drives me a little crazy. Like, it's not even subtle. Like what they're trying to get across in Squid Game, which
we'll be talking. We'll do a whole pod on it.
Yeah,
but
they're gonna do a pod when I'm out. You know, I wish that I could sub my son in because he watched it and loved it, but he's not interested in the podcast at all.
It's okay. It's
So,
all right.
I think, Amy, you would die first. And the reason I think you would
I
die
accept
first
this.
is because I think you would be coming from a place of logic
100%.
and there will not be logic. And
Yeah.
so you're going to be like, there's structure and logic and systems. I'm dead.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I think I
fair.
can
That's
be.
fair. That's fair.
I remember like when I was younger sometimes and I would play games and people would say like, oh, you're kind of wily. You're kind of scrappy. So I feel like that's the only reason I would get a little far. And because I think I do have basic like coordination. But I fully believe Squid Game is all mental and that's why Leah would go far.
I do think, well, it is physical too. So
It
I will die
is,
on physicality, but I think that also for you, Megan, where I'm going to say, yes, you are very self-aware. Where your downfall will be is that you will form an alliance with people and then they're going to fuck you because you will be the least, they will be like,
because she'll trust that alliance.
Yeah, we'll kill Megan tonight.
And I'm also like really loyal. So like I will hurt myself in trying to maintain those loyalties and it will just backfire on me, basically. Like I know that about myself.
But I will say that the people who tend to do well are not the people who have no group either. Like you have to, because I would say it's not people who have false loyalty either. Like loyalty is rewarded to some degree in Squid Game. Like,
correct. But you have to read people well. And there are some people that don't read people well. And I think
like some people are good actors.
Yeah.
Or they just panic. And when you're panicked and at your base self, you're just like, you see a lot of people who will become bystanders and like let things happen around them because they're just like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes me like Squid Game even more, but we'll talk about it more.
So
but that's a good question.
Ability to kill and and like for myself, like not for money, but like if I was trapped in the situation and like couldn't get out, I think I could handle there. I do think though, when it comes to like some of those big physicality games, especially in season 1, like the bridge and stuff, I mean, I'm fucking toast at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. Even the tug of war, I was like, oh my God. I mean,
tug of war toasted.
That's why watching
the draw.
Yeah, that's why watching Physical 100 is hard sometimes because like the women are like so powerful. But I'm sorry, you're going to get some of these men are like 6'6", 350. I mean, the sheer strength that they have is crazy. And I mean, not that I'm even like strong. I'm actually pretty weak, but it's like, what am I going to do at 4'11"? What am I going to do? You know?
Scurry up someone's backside and like,
yeah, like just be scrappy, just be scrappy, just be annoying. I'm good at that. But actually, I did want to tell you guys, because literally right before we signed on this podcast, I saw that Netflix Korea posted some really good news, and I'm really excited about this. So I know neither of you watch Bloodhounds, but I did, and I've talked about it a lot. And I know both of you, I feel like you still support Bloodhounds because you support Udo-wan and Lee Sang-gi. So like you get it?
100%.
Well, I had said that they announced season 2 a while ago. Well, now they announced the villain, and it's going to be Rain, the K-pop. And so he was the bodyguard in Red Swan, which I did not finish Red Swan because I didn't love it, but I loved him. Like he's great in it. Yes, like he's great. I loved him. I watched a few episodes. He's great. So he is going to be the villain, and I am so stoked. Like this is going to be, and apparently he's like the boss of some underground boxing ring. Like hell yes, please. Underground boxing rings are like my catnip. I am so excited for Bloodhounds 2. Udo-wan has this like really short haircut in the promo pics. Lee Sang-gi looks great as always. The bromance is alive and well. I am so excited.
I won't watch it, but love it.
So great news. I said something like on Instagram, like, do you hear me screaming from Pennsylvania? And someone wrote and said, well, I can't hear you over my own screaming. And I was like, yes, see, you're my people.
Speaking of Udo-wan, why don't you tell our listeners what your daughter's doing right now?
I know. Okay. So listen, so she had asked me if she could watch Mr. Plankton. And I said, yes, because I pretty much let her watch any K-drama she wants to. And I feel like a bad parent because I have not warned her. I've not said a word. I've just been like, yeah, it's a great K-drama because we're not going to spoil.
We're not going to spoil it right now. But like, the
ending will make you cry.
Yeah, the ending will make you cry. But I will continue to like. I will die on the hill of it was very obvious to me, and it's okay if it's okay that it's not to other people, but it's because I knew the framework of this story because it was basically from an American movie from 30 years ago. And I was right. It did not help to know, though. I will tell you that. So that's just it. Like it didn't help to know how it was going to end. You still had to walk around outside your car without a coat and talk me down.
I did. And so I know she cried over the deaths in Stranger Things. It's going to be, oh my God. So she's already on episode 5. She is like speeding through it.
You have to keep us posted.
I will. I'll keep you posted on how she does. I'm a little nervous. I feel like a bad parent, but I want her to experience this. Like this is, I think she'll be okay. I don't know.
I still think about that drama.
I think it was my favorite drama of 2024. It was at least in the top 3.
Yeah, it was up there.
I also really love Death's Game. Yeah, I like some others. But yeah, probably in the top 3.
So just to reiterate what I mentioned in Patreon, because we had some our patrons ask, like, are you covering Squid Game? And just want to reiterate that yes, in a couple of weeks, Leah and Megan are going to be doing an episode without me on Squid Game.
Yeah, no worries. We got it covered.
Speaking of Patreon, so whenever we do an Uncensored, we, toss it to the Patreon for them to ask some questions of us. And let's just start with a really fun would you rather from Gavin.
Oh, God.
Or this or that. Neck veins or forearm veins? Which one? That's really easy for me.
I'm actually going to go with neck vein.
I say forearm.
There's something about the neck that gets me every time.
I am going forearm because, like, I also am a big hand vein person. And so you just follow that line right up the arm.
Fair.
Yeah, the arm is good. That actually, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, it's like the noodles from Lady and the Tramp for me. You just like get one in and like.
It was a really good part, I thought, of episode 1 of Singles Inferno, which we are going to cover as well.
They did. They basically zoomed in on arm veins.
Arm vein, and like all the hosts were commenting on his arm, and it was great. It was great.
This is what I'm sorry. Let's just mention Singles Inferno because it's airing now, and when this episode comes out, it'll still be like it's not over until I think February 21st. So there are 4 episodes out now as we're recording.
And then they'll drop them weekly, right?
They'll drop 2 a week. The producers know what we want. And this is why they're so smart because they zoomed in on those 4 arm veins to make sure we saw, like, yes, we saw them. We all saw them before the hosts mentioned them. And that's why I love this show. But Singles Inferno 4 is, again, unmatched. Like, I'm sorry. It's such a good show. I am obsessed. And so I do have to tell you, I normally watch everything on my phone. Like that's how I watch all my K-dramas.
I can't.
But that's what I do.
No, I watch on an iPad, but not on a phone.
No, so everything's
or my TV. Like if I'm not like falling asleep, I will watch downstairs on the TV.
Well, so last night I was like, screw it, I'm watching Singles Inferno. So I put episode 1 on the TV. Because I was like, I want the big TV.
You need
for
to
this.
see that full size.
Wait.
Yeah.
I was like, I've been looking forward to this since last season finished airing. And Neil, my husband, kind of like walks into the room. He's like, "What are you watching?" Because we like don't even turn on our TV very often. And I was like, Singles Inferno. It's only the best Korean reality show there is and ever was. And his response was, "Wow. You never put Korean on the big TV." It's just so you never put Korean on the big TV. That was the way he worded it, which was so funny to me. And I was like, that's because that's how much Singles Inferno. That's what it deserves.
It does.
So I have a weird ritual that I do now with my phone. I feel like I've gotten real weird with it, but now I also take out one contact to watch it because I want to hold it right up to my face. Not because I can't see, but there's just something, because I tend to watch it at night. I lay on my couch with my cat in a sleeping bag and I hold it in my front of my face. So I don't want to hold it back to watch it with my contacts in. I want to have it right in front of my face. But if I have my contacts in, I can't really see it. So I take out one contact and then I watch it with one eye.
Like a freaking pirate.
So if anyone just really needs to be turned on, sit with that image. Just sit with that image of me and rub one out.
I have an astigmatism in like both eyes. So my contacts will like they're weighted, you know what I mean? To change. So if I lay on my side, they like get kind of messed up. Like I can't see right. Mm-hmm. So if I am watching on my phone, I'm laying on my side, I always take my contacts out. But again, Singles Inferno kept my contacts in because I had to see the big TV. Was not disappointed. Binged all 4 episodes. I seriously, I sat there from 6 to like 10:30.
Amazing.
I don't even care. I was like, leave me alone. I'm watching Korean on the big TV. No one bug me. And I have my favorites already. We did have that question also on Patreon. Will you be covering Singles Inferno 4? Are you joking? Of
Absolutely.
Course. It's on the schedule. Well, not really, but trust me, it is happening.
As soon as it's over, we'll cover it because we're all going to watch it live.
Because I'm going to need to talk about it.
It's so fun. It's so fun. Speaking of Singles Inferno, I thought I was going to get roasted tonight. So I'm just going to roast myself about Singles Inferno and how I thought it started early.
Oh, please. Yes.
So last weekend, right? Yeah, it was last weekend.
Yeah.
I had no kids in the house. I just flipped on the TV and I was about to watch episode 2 of When the Stars Gossip. But the very top of my Netflix banner was Singles Inferno. And I was like, oh, is it out? I'm not reading like the small print, like new episodes coming soon, which was on the banner. Not reading that. I'm like, holy shit, it started. And I hit play. I hit play to go to I hit the button to go to episodes. And I'm like, I'm double checking to make sure that it's the new season. And I swear on my life, I swear that I saw just like 3 episodes and then it was like coming soon. So I'm like, oh, this is it. This is the new season. And so I just hit play and start watching. And I message you guys like in the middle of it, like with that comment stuff. And Megan's like, and this is like January 11th. And Megan's like, holy shit, I thought it started January 14th.
Yeah, I was like, it's January 14th, Amy. And you're like, no, it's out. I was like, yeah.
And you didn't try to correct me anymore.
Well, I was like, I mean, if you say so.
I know. Well, so I'm watching and I'm 95% of the way done with episode 1. And this is when I should remind you all that I did not watch season 1 of Singles Inferno when Leah and Megan did, because I was not a reality TV person like at all. And so I was like, yeah, you guys do it. I'm not gonna enjoy it. Little, unbeknownst to me, like when I finally like sat down and watched season 2, like I loved it. So anyway, I'm watching this episode. I'm loving it. Like 95% of the way done with the episode. I'm like, wait a minute. First of all, we're missing a host. Like Dex is not there.
Where's Dex?
He's
Dex? Not on the panel.
And I'm like, why would he be coming only episode 2? So I'm like, I'm just going to pause it. Like I hadn't paused it or anything. Just going to pause it. And as soon as you pause it, what pops up on the screen? Season 1, episode 1. So I have this whole thing and I'm like commenting on shit and I'm commenting on like people and things that they say and what they're wearing. And Leah, like in real time, is like replying to my comments. She's like, oh my God, it's out. I'm going to watch it. Oh, wait, no, I'm not. I feel like that's the most boomer thing that I've ever done.
It's
ever. And
I was shocked that you did it because you watched so much and you're just like, I'm so excited. I love the cast. And I was like,
I honestly don't know. My only excuse, which is only going to make me sound more boomer, is that I had gotten a vaccine that day, which was making me like a little tired.
Yeah.
But the vaccine that I got is one that you need to get when you are a certain age.
Yeah.
And it's the shingles vaccine.
Well, I've had shingles already.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, I had shingles when I was like in my 30s.
Oof. Wow.
I've had shingles and so has Nick. Yes, we both had shingles.
Because they tell you not to get the vaccine until you're 50. And I had not even thought about it because I pretend that I'm not 50. Not that I'm not like happy that I've lived this long and hope to live longer. But I just, I don't feel like I am my age. I don't like to be my age. But like with it, like 3 times in 1 week, I had the shingles vaccine like mentioned to me by like random people. Like once when I was getting my hair cut, once when I was talking to some friends, and then once when I was driving through Walgreens to pick up a prescription for nothing related to shingles. And the pharmacist was like, just so you know, you can pop in any time and get your shingles vaccine. And I'm like, why? Why is everybody doing this to me? So I got scared because I don't want to get shingles and I got it. And that's when I sat down and watched season 1, episode 1 of Singles Inferno.
There you go. You're in a vaccine haze.
It was a vaccine haze. That was a really like not very exciting story, but
No, it's funny though. It's funny that you were like all in.
I was so excited, and I'm talking to you guys about it. I'm like, no, it's really on.
Though.
It's really on.
I was like, Netflix usually doesn't just like drop things early. Like sometimes they'll drop things like what we don't expect, like maybe all at once or something like that. But they usually stick to the date.
Maybe you had the date wrong. Like maybe you just had the date wrong.
True. I easily could have.
You did not have the date wrong.
Because like the date kind of stuck in my head, like 114. So it did kind of stick in my head that I loved it. I love the first 4 episodes. I had a great time watching it. I think there are some fun characters. I heard some people say that a lot of the women have the same look, and they do. I mean, seriously, they look really similar. But I do think they have distinct personalities. I would say sometimes like their styles.
Is it a cardigan style? Are we back to the cardigan?
We're back to like the kind of like the pastels. It's fine.
There is the one though. There is the one who's more like skaterish, and I really like her look.
So there's one who Leah, I think immediately you're going to be like, she's my girl. Okay. Because she's reminiscent of the girl from from Dex's season that like no one ever took to Paradise.
Right, who like was the best.
Who dressed a little bit more provocatively, who wore bright clothes. Yeah. Same thing in this season. She's dressed a little bit more provocatively. She wears really bright clothes, is a beautiful killer body. Dex is in love with her, which is the best part.
That's funny because Dex Ghost, remember the other one? He was like girl crush. Oh,
he loves this one.
Okay.
But everyone's like not into her. And I'm just like, you're missing out.
Maybe that would be great if we have like a host, person romance, because yeah, why not? I mean, I ship myself with the hosts as well.
It's just so funny because there's a scene where all the women are sitting down. They're all wearing muted colors, and she's wearing a bright red jacket with like a short dress that has bright red cherries all over it. And it kills me. It's hysterical. It's so funny because none of them are dressed like that. I think she's also wearing red heels. None of them are dressed like that.
The heels still kill me. Like, we'll talk about it. We're going to have a whole segment on shoes.
Yeah. Oh, for Singles Inferno?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, don't worry.
Yeah.
We will be talking about shoes.
Okay. Let's go back to the Patreon.
Actually, I want to bring up a question.
Yeah.
Let me find it. Oh my gosh, where was the question?
I don't know, Megan, but we don't
here it is.
Edit this, so
I know. Sorry. It was, who would you take from a Western drama and put into a K-drama? And what
who asked,
what
who
actor?
Asked that? Give them some credit.
Well, I can't find it now. I can't find it. Oh, here it is. Caroline.
It's Caroline.
Oh my God. My eyes were just like not working. Yeah.
And then she went and casted a bunch of them, which I thought was fun.
Yeah. What Western actor would you like to do a cameo in a K-drama? What role or character? So, I am going to say, just because I was trying to think of like a good, like a drama or a show in the Western world, I think you could like take a character and put him in a K-drama. And I'm actually going to say Steve Harrington from Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Is anyone surprised that that's my choice? How cool.
Love me some Joe Keery.
How cool would he be as this like charming, I think, actually, what I think he would be is a really good second male lead. But then you got to give him a girl. But I think he would make a really good, I just think he would make a really good second male lead
get
character.
Some love, please?
I know that's the only thing, but then I don't want him to not have an HEA. So maybe he gets rejected by the heroine and then finds his own secondary romance, within the same drama. I feel like that can work, right?
Yeah,
can totally.
You could have a second lead that has a second female lead as well.
Yeah, I think I want him to get passed over for I don't know, some probably tsundere character, but Joe Keery or Steve Harrington is just so charming, and he's a second male lead who then gets his own. That's what I think.
As long as he gets an HEA.
Yeah.
I want to share one of the ones that Caroline actually mentioned because I really, really like it. Because I was still am a huge fan of the show, The Good Place. with Ted Danson, and I have like this undying love for Ted Danson. Like, I want to watch this new show that's on Netflix.
What?
I love Ted Danson. Oh my God, I love him. You didn't watch The Good Place. You don't know. So Caroline said, a fantasy drama with reapers or demons. Why not a cameo of Ted Danson as Michael from The Good Place? And you don't get that reference if you haven't watched The Good Place. But he would be fantastic. Oh my God. Yeah. I absolutely adore Ted Danson. To the extent where I have a character in How to Lose a Guy Before Christmas that the heroine like looks like Ted Danson and is like totally enamored with him.
Okay, I gotta be honest.
His name's Alfie.
I know the name Ted Danson, but I don't think I had to look him up. And that's not who I was. That's not who I was thinking of. I was thinking of someone else. I am so sorry. I guess I didn't know.
Thank you, Caroline, for knowing who Ted Danson is and knowing what The Good Place is. Listeners, please back me up here that The Good Place is a fucking amazing show.
Sure, it's great. I'm not at all dissing A Good Place. I feel really bad because I was definitely thinking Ted Danson. I think I confused him with Burt Reynolds.
What?
Yeah, because they were. It looks like they were in 3 Men and a Baby.
No, they were not in 3 Men and a Baby. That was Tom Selleck. Get out of here.
Oh, that's it. I'm confusing him with Tom Selleck, not Burt Reynolds.
You are fired from this conversation. You are 100% fired from this conversation. Please see yourself out.
I'll stop. I'll see my millennial self out.
So is it my turn?
Yeah, sure.
And we're going this is fictional. So I will say in the chat, somebody threw out one that did shake me when we were watching Space Sweepers, which was Richard Armitage appears, who's like one of my like all-time favorites, not looking his best self in this, not acting well in it. Such a confusing moment with Richard Armitage in that movie. Like North and South, I can't explain to you how important and impactful that show is to me. Like I am obsessed with North and South. If you have not seen North and South, honestly, I don't know what you're doing with your life. I know it's not a K-drama, but get to North and South.
I haven't seen it.
Is what?
I don't think I have.
Okay.
I saw the 80s North and South with like...
This is not a Civil War. No. North
I know
and
it's
South,
not. I know it's not.
Is set in England, and it's essentially kind of like it's a love story backdropped against like the Industrial Revolution. So you have a family from the South who's like a bucolic, more like gentry rural family moving up to the North because of economic circumstances. And it's a love affair kind of between like this girl from the like kind of more from like the genteel South with an industrialist in the North. And Richard Armitage plays the like very glowering industrialist.
Okay, every time you have mentioned North and South, I thought you were talking about some Civil War show.
No.
Okay.
I knew you weren't, but I've never seen it.
I did. I thought this whole time.
So there's a moment in it. This is not a spoiler because there's no context, but there's a moment in it where she's leaving in a carriage and he's doing like the Arthur fist. This is like the iconic moment of the movie. You just have no context, so it's not really spoiling anything. So he's making like that Arthur fist, like, you know, the bold clenched fist. And he's standing there, and Richard Armitage is just like, it's in his moment of perfection. Like he really has like, at that point, he's like so seasonedly perfect. And he's like, look back at me. Look back at me. And he's like talking to the carriages. It's like going away. And she like doesn't look back. And he's standing there like in all of his English repression. Look back at me. Look back at me. And it's like, I can't tell you how turned on it. I mean, that's like a forearm in a voice right there. And then he shows up and says Space Sweepers like with a clown makeup on. Like, I don't even know what that was. Like, I'm saying like metaphorical clown makeup.
Yeah.
Like, anyway, who am I picking to make a cameo?
Yeah.
Ted Lasso.
I was thinking of he was
great.
like my second choice. Yeah.
I want to see something where like we've got like actually the thing. So here's my thing. Now that we're in 2025 of like wish lists, where the fuck's our sports romance and where's our soccer romance for K-drama? Because they love soccer.
They love it.
They love
what
Sunny.
is going on.
Where's our
Thank
Sunny,
you.
like our Sunny themed K-drama soccer romance with
Thank
my
you.
Ted Lasso cameo?
Thank you. I would like, please, like that is all I want in life. If they came out, remember, like, well, the movie with Park Seo-joon and IU, that wasn't really like a soccer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it definitely didn't like fulfill what like I wanted, but Yeah, like a Sunny based, like a human sun based hero. Are you kidding me? He's like probably one of the most famous. No, I know he's one of the most famous people in Korea. So let's work with that.
I have a book coming out, probably not until 2026 now, where it's a thing, but it's inspired by Ted Lasso, and it is.
Oh yeah, you told us about that. I'm excited about it.
I don't know when it's coming though, so I'll tell you all when it does. But this is just to say, like, people will eat that up because, like, I love Ted Lasso. Like, I want anything and everything Ted Lasso. Please bring it to me.
Like a scrappy coat. Taking like a third tier K League and like rate. Oh my God, it would be incredible. Anyway, okay.
I do want to add, like, the sort of origin of this question was talking about how, what if we put some, like, when we have our random English speaking actors in K-dramas, how about if they're one of our favorite, Western actors? And so that's kind of where it came from. But then further down the chat, one of our patrons, Jay, said, I think Alex Landy, John Nan, Mr. Plankton, should move to Korea and play all English speaking roles.
100%.
Yeah.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
Why should a Western and K-drama always be of 100% white Euro descent?
Yeah.
And 100% agree.
Yeah.
But we could put Ted Danson in there, not Tom Selleck or Burt Reynolds.
All right.
Ted Danson.
Sorry. Alex Landy is so good. I follow him on Instagram. So excited when he posts. I just love him so much. I just really hope he stars in more K-dramas. Like, that would just make me so happy.
Yeah, he was great. Leah, I know that you know about your question.
Yeah, I'm going to throw in mine because we were just talking sports romance. And so somebody wrote in the chat and just asked me who I would cast for Puck and Prejudice. So
as a K-drama, right?
As a K-drama. Yeah. And I'm not doing the whole cast. I'm just doing Lee. Because, let's be real. So I had to think about it because, okay, the thing about my hero in Puck and Prejudice is that they are they're a himbo. And so it needs to be somebody who can embody himbo energy, but like, they're not just like a dum-dum. Like they're going to center, like they've got the green flag energy, right? So they're a himbo, but they're also going to like love their woman, center their woman, all that kind of stuff. So I thought about it, and who I would cast for my lead in this is Cha Eun-woo. This is aspirational.
Oh, okay.
I haven't really gone a lot of distance talking about my thing for Cha Eun-woo because, like, I just haven't. I have a lot of time for him. And I think that he can play like a multifaceted, layered character. But I think he can do a good green flag. And I think he can do I think he can pull off a himbo. And so
I thought you were going to cast Kang Han-woo. That's where I thought you were going with it.
Kang Han-woo's too old for the role. And okay. Like not too old for the planet, but I was thinking like my character is like, in his like mid-20s. So
yeah, you're right.
And Kang Han-woo's like in his like early 30s. Yeah, I could.
No, you're right.
But he's also kind of a little too like fun, goofy, which is like, look, I'm in my Kang Han-woo era big time. I have opened an Instagram private folder to myself entitled Kang Han-woo, and I just send myself Kang Han-woo content now. Like, I'm really back on my Kang Han-woo. But for this, no.
I like your casting. I'm looking him. I know what he looks like, but I wanted to look him up also so I can like picture it as Tucker, and now I'm on board.
Yeah, I feel as if so he was in True Beauty as like one of the roles that I think would be good that he was in, but he's been in, like, we've done some of the dramas that he's in, haven't we? Or have we not? Have I just watched him on my own?
I have not watched him in anything.
I have not watched him in anything. I think the only thing
I was surprised when he said his name. I'm like, what have you watched him in?
I love it though.
Okay, yeah, I think I've just seen him in stuff like Rookie Historian. Like, there's stuff I've seen that's just been like stuff I've seen just on my own. So anyway, I'm going with him. Mm-hmm. And then the other person that I'm pairing him with, because I was trying to think who would I like to see him with, but who do I think embodies kind of like the character, like who could pull off like a good Lizzie? And I went with somebody that both of you will know, and I went with Bae Suzy.
Oh yeah.
I think Bae Suzy would be really good. And I think the two of them together would be hot. And so if I had some sort of a thing where, you know, she was my plucky like heroine from the past and he is the time traveling, you know, sports player, I think that would be a good pairing.
I love that because I think Bae Suzy would give a maturity to the role that is needed for Lizzie. Because even if Lizzie's not old, there's just an inherent maturity to her because she's lives in olden times. Not olden times.
She's older for her age, like for being an unmarried, you know, like she was in her late 20s. So again, we're talking.
She's independent, like very self-possessed, like, you know, like knows what she wants.
I think Bae Suzy and I think the two of them together, that's a good chemistry pairing that I would like to see happen. And so, that's just like an aspirational chemistry pairing. So final answer, that's what I'm going with.
I fully support it. I love it. I can picture it. Yeah.
Do we want to look at this one? Going back to some more casting, who would you cast in the bodyguard drama you have been manifesting? And would they be protecting the lead from a serial killer, evil family member, deranged fan? And if they had to escape, would they escape to a 5-star hotel in Seoul, Jeju, a small town in the country, or internationally?
Let me just answer
And that was Jennifer. Sorry. Thank you for that, Jennifer.
Let me answer who I'm casting, and then we can dual casting, and then we can give scenarios. Kang Ha-neul. Here's my Kang Ha-neul. This is where I want to see the bodyguard energy. Is that kind of like goofy, beefy, man bunny, but like in a suit, like him with his half pony, in a suit, his big mouth, his thicker body that he's rocking right now. Kang Ha-neul.
Well, what I love about that, what I would like, because like the bodyguard is going to be very stoic for the beginning, right? So you're not going to know that he's this total like goober teddy bear. So he can be both. And I love that. Like that's like the surprise is that you find out that he's this badass bodyguard, but also like a goober.
Mm-hmm. Yep, into it.
I have two because I kind of have like two different ideas of how I want this bodyguard story to go. So one is I want an older idol. Okay. Like I'm talking like mid 30s, which that is nearing her 40s, which I'm not saying that is old. I'm saying for like a working K-pop idol that is on the older side. So I want her bodyguard to be older. And if we're casting that, I want to cast Jung Sung-il, which is the hot daddy from The Glory. You guys remember. I love him. I don't understand why he's not some sort of like romantic lead in anything. I want an older romantic lead and him starring so bad. I absolutely love him. And then if we're going with like a younger bodyguard, who in real life isn't younger really, but he can play younger. And I think he would like pair well with a younger actress would be An Bo-hyun. Like, sorry, but I am always.
If you didn't say him, I was going to say him
because he's so beefy. Like I need a big dude. Yes. I need that for me. I want a massive height difference. These are all the things I want. And the thought of An Bo-hyun in that role gets me so excited. Like I really liked, I mentioned again, I liked Rain as a bodyguard in Red Swan. He was kind of perfect for me. I just didn't like the drama as a whole, and I wasn't like into the heroine. So
and go ahead.
I would like to cast somebody, please.
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you. I also like the idea of older because like when it older and thick, because it's got to be somebody who's thick.
Yeah.
And like when it comes to thick, my favorite thick daddy is Uteo.
Oh my God. Why didn't I think of that? Jesus, he would be so good.
Oh, good.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it.
That's my bodyguard.
Okay. So then who's the love interest?
I'm so worried about the bodyguard.
So I've got mine. I can go first.
Yeah,
go ahead. I have some
you just because it was obvious, but would be fun. But I'm backing it off. I'm going with somebody who I think would be a great pairing with my Kang Ha-neul bodyguard, and that is Lee Sung-kyung, who was in It's Okay Not to Be Okay as like the troubled young girl, She was in Weightlifting Fairy. She just has first, she's gorgeous and looks like, a beautiful idol. She's also very funny. And I think can bring pathos. And I just like her personality. Like, I feel like she's smart. She's funny. She's got like the model vibe, but she's also just like I think she's got a personality that would be very fun to pair with Kang Han-nul. Like, they both have like a very like inherent likability to them. And so I could see that being fun. So that's my choice is Lee Sung-kyung.
I like it. Megan, you got someone?
Yeah. So for me, I really love Moon Ga-young, and I haven't seen her. She was in True Beauty. The last thing I saw her in, well, no, I've seen her in other things, but the drama that she made an impression on me is Tempted. And for as much as I say I hate that drama, I mention it all the time. So clearly I didn't.
I was just gonna say
I mention it all the time. So clearly, like, it made an impression on me. I loved her in that. I think she would be a really fantastic kind of like idol who's like over it. Like, I just think kind of like a cynical idol that someone really has to like break down. I don't know. I think she would play off of An Bo-hyun really well. And then an actress who's old, like kind of much older, maybe Jun Ji-hyun or Kim Ji-won.
I was gonna say her, Jun Ji-hyun.
Yeah, Jun Ji-hyun I think would be a really cool older idol. And I think she'd be able to be super likable. Like, I think she would be cool against Jung Sung-il because or maybe even if she was just she doesn't even have to be a K-pop idol. She could be like an older actress that has to be bodyguarded. I just feel like her against Jung Sung-il would be a really, really cool pairing.
Yeah, I think she'd also be a good pairing with Woo Tae-oh.
Yeah.
What I love about her is she's got that crazy, like, powerful beauty, but then also the amazing physical comedy. And so you could take it to like so many different levels. Like, I don't want this bodyguard drama to be slapstick by any means.
Yeah.
But you can have some comedy in there, and she would do it really well.
Yeah. I agree. I like that. Gosh, why can't it happen?
I know.
That and a soccer
casting
romance.
it. Okay, and who or what are they being protected from? It's for sure not a serial killer.
Oh. Right.
At least in mine, it's not going to be a serial killer. It could be I'm okay with like a stalker fan, but like not just a random serial killer.
What if it's just like a family member who wants her life insurance? Is that boring?
Yes.
I'm trying to think. Ooh, or maybe it's like I got it. Got it. It's an evil twin who wants to take her place.
Ooh, I like that. So I think I'm going something which I normally don't do, which is like high external conflict, which I think some sort of natural disaster, like the plane, like something happens, the plane's grounded, like her private jet, and there's like external circumstances, and she's like thrown into some sort of like inadvertent weird road trip where she's like the most famous person and is with this bodyguard, and they have to like incognito somehow get through it together.
Are they in Argon?
Please. No.
Are they running through the jungle looking at sunsets?
Not in Argon. No, more like they're in like Tokyo or something, like where it's just like they have to be incognito to a point. There's no serial killer energy for me in the foreseeable future.
No rebels in a jungle with machine guns.
I don't want like Sasangs. I want to have something that feels point. And so that's what I'm thinking. It's got to be for me in my case, since I don't want to have like a specific baddie type thing, then it's going to have to be some sort of bigger external conflict like that. Like something has happened and like snowstorm and have to get to like, they got to get somewhere and then they're like trapped on the way. Like those perennial classics, something like that.
Only
so
one bed.
I think of my like Jung Ji-hyun, Sung Dong-il, or Sung-il.
Not Sung Dong-il.
No.
Not that we don't love him.
No. But I think of them as like, that would be like a little bit more serious. I mean, there'll still be some comedy, or some like comedic relief, but it'd be more serious. That would be like the evil twin. And then what if An Bo-hyun and Moon Ga-young, what if it's almost like the Hangover type? where like it's just almost like I know you don't like capers, but I do like capers. But like
I do too.
What?
I like capers.
No, I know, but why'd you make that?
Because when you're done, I just can't.
But I love capers. So what if it's like a hangover type situation where like they keep getting involved in things and they don't mean to, which is very hangover.
I think that would be fun. That'd be very fun.
I think that would be really fun with An Bo Hyung and Moon Ga Young because I think they're both fully capable of being super sexy, but then also like funny. Like I would want like hangover type craziness.
So you you inspired me.
Yay! That's what we do.
Low-hanging fruit, but we have not seen this in a K-drama. They wake up married in fucking Vegas.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like she does a performance in Vegas and wakes up married to her bodyguard.
That would be
and has to backtrack through what happened last night.
And they would be so like like there's a comedy, but there's a poignancy. And I think that you could do something really fun with that. But it's the Married in Vegas K-drama.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes, please give it to us.
Please.
That's
it doesn't
why I
even
jumped
have
out
to
of my
be,
skin because that would be fun.
It could be like Married in Bangkok. Like it doesn't have to be Vegas, but Vegas would be fun.
I like Married in Vegas because you do like the drive-through weddings and stuff. Like, and it's all
that's where that shit happens, right? Like that's where it happens.
Yeah. And there's plenty of K-pop shows that come through Vegas.
True. I love it. That would be so funny.
And then they have to like go back to Korea. It's not all set in Vegas, but like they get married and then it's like, and then maybe there's some advantageous reason to stay married or there's a reason they can't unmarry and whatever it is. But like, they can go, they don't have to stay in Vegas the whole time. But I think that's a fun premise.
Right. I would love it. Yeah. It happens in Vegas. They have to come home. And then I think I like the idea that they somehow have to stay together or they have to keep up the ruse. There's some sort of reason why they have to stay together. And it would be really, really cool to like play that out and all their family and friends. Then of course they fall for each other and then get married for real.
Mm-hmm.
And they go like have another Vegas wedding. That's a real one.
I love
like,
it.
Elvis and stuff. Oh my, how fun would that be? Why can't we do this?
Look, we can. I think this is the other thing is I've just put back to the universe. What are things I'm looking to manifest? You said the universe likes me. So
it does.
I like the universe. I like you. I like you, Amy.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody has to, at some point, just one day turn this on and be like, why not bring
like they have some ideas.
Yeah, they got some ideas. Come on.
Let's let them try. Let's let them try.
2025 is the year. If you are hearing us, trust me, we are rad. We are good to work with. We will plot you. I will make you jizz in your pants with happiness.
When we're famous, that's the clip they're going to play over and over again.
Jizz in your pants. Jizz in your pants. Okay, speaking of our writing prowess, Heather said, if you could change the ending of any drama, which would you choose and how would you change it? I'm not going to belabor When the Phone Rings because we talked enough about that ending on When the Phone Rings, but I'm going to backpedal on an ending that I always said I would change. I'm going to backpedal on the King Eternal Monarch. And the reason why I'm going to backpedal on that is because of Puck and Prejudice. Because Puck and Prejudice made me appreciate the way the King Eternal Monarch ended. Yeah. And I actually love it now.
Yeah, didn't we have a conversation about that in Slack?
We did.
I did too. I did too. I actually, the ending of Puck and Prejudice, let me just, well, I don't want to give the ending away.
I don't want to give away the ending of your, I don't want to give away the ending of your book. And I don't want to give away the ending of the King Eternal Monarch either. I just want to say that like people have heard me like talk about it a lot. And I'm backpedaling now. Because I
want details.
Yeah.
Send us an email or something.
Read the book.
Read the book. That's it too. Read the book. If you have seen the King Eternal Monarch, read Puck and Prejudice.
Yeah.
Or not. I mean, you don't have to have seen the King Eternal Monarch I can't even say it. The King Eternal Monarch. You don't have to have seen it to read Puck and Prejudice, but you do have to know what I'm talking about. And that's where the drama comes in.
So mine's simple. Well, thank you, first of all, Amy. But
you're welcome.
Mine is simple, which is, although, am I pronouncing it right? So the Greek character who like does the boats with the souls is Chiron, correct?
I think it's Chiron.
Chiron, okay. Chiron/Chiron. End of my demon. I want to see the hero pulling out a Chiron/Chiron boat into the underworld and loading up all the innocent souls that are, s'mores roasting like on the fire,
wrongfully being punished.
Yes, and bring them to a place of peace and calm and tranquility as they deserve. They don't have to come back alive, but they should not be in the suffering inferno.
I like it.
And then that movie I like at that point, or that show.
It is. I mean, that is one of the things that we talked about with, if you didn't listen to our When the Phone Rings episode, which is the one before this, is Megan brought up like the very important fact that a drama can be great even for 99% of the episodes. And if you don't stick the landing, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth for the whole drama.
Yeah, and again, sometimes the drama, or sometimes, if the ending is just sort of like blah, I can usually get over that. Like boring, or just like didn't impact me, I don't know, how I wanted, or something like that. But when you take the characters and make them do something that you personally, I understand the writer is entitled to think how the characters would react, but we also are entitled to think that as well. And if they act completely out of character, or something where the whole thing is you build up something for your characters to learn. That's like the whole point. They change. Right. They're dynamic.
Growth.
Yeah, there's growth. They're not static. And if they are dynamic, it's boring. Or if they are static, it's boring. So if you build up the growth of a character and then wash that away in the last episode, it's extremely frustrating. And that's one of the reasons I'm not going to say the end of Mr. Plankton, but it's one of the reasons I liked the end of Mr. Plankton, because it did build up the growth and it was there, and there was a point to what happened in the end. And that's why I was okay with the ending. And so I guess and I will also say that's also why Crash Landing on You ending to me was great. I actually really liked it. And it didn't ruin anything for me, because I thought, again, that was very true to how the characters would react. And I think that they both grew. They were completely changed by the last episode in a way that felt realistic. So, again, that's why When the Phone Rings utterly failed in the last episode for me. Mm-hmm. And why I would rewrite the shit out of it.
Yep. But we already talked about that in our podcast.
I will say I did rewrite the ending a little bit to Death's Game, although I didn't hate the ending. I did at first, but then I kind of came around. I shouldn't say hated it. I never hated it. I thought I had a better ending, I shouldn't say that either. I didn't have a better ending. I had a good alternative, and I still stand by that. You can listen to I could not explain it properly, or it would not make sense if you didn't see Death's Game. You can listen to our podcast on it. But I still feel like the ending that the show gave us was good, and still gave us like growth within the characters and everything. A Virtuous Business. Absolutely awful ending. Ruined the entire show. You build up these strong, independent women who are looking up to other independent women, and then you sort of just like let that house of cards crumble and give us an ending that seemed like someone else wrote it, that was fakey. I mean, they had built up so many realistic relationships and then just like flop them in it's so terrible. And I'm not even sure how I would write that last episode. Well, no, I think I would have.
You'd write a brand new.
Or I would have ended it in episode 7 because it was fine.
Yeah.
Or episode, whatever the episode before that was. I forget how many episodes of Virtuous Business was. Maybe 12. So I would have ended at 11. You know what I'm saying? Like that ending was, I swear, that drama was setting up to be one of my favorites of the year. And then the ending just tore it down. Same as When the Phone Rings. Why did they do this to us?
I don't know. I don't know. All right. I think we have time for one more.
Yeah, let's do one more.
What do you say? Let's see here. We got through a lot. No, we already did that. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Yeah, you go. What'd you find?
Heather says, anyone else get the ick from boss employee dramas? How like she's like, I'm starting to feel like the power dynamic is just a huge red flag to me. I think no, but that's the part of where
in K-drama it's okay, right? Fantasy is okay, real life no.
I totally get though. If you have, I would say like if you, I'm not saying this Patreon does. I'm saying it makes sense though if any listener has some sort of trauma like surrounding this, like if they were sexually harassed at work, I totally get why this wouldn't be for you, or maybe this is for you because you find it healing. I don't know. But I get like why it wouldn't work. But for me, that exists in a box that is only in K-dramas and is only okay in K-dramas.
Same.
And I can personally separate out that fantasy, but I also get if it doesn't work for you. I totally get it.
I think one of my favorite examples of that, where it really, really worked for me, was in Marry My Husband.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really good way to do it. And I won't like give any spoilers if you haven't watched that one, but it was a really, really good way to do it to make it. I felt like there wasn't ick in the way that they did that.
Yeah. And I think it's because the power dynamic was so shifted away from the hero, even though he was her boss. And I do think that the way that was presented, I completely agree. It was not ick at all. I mean, what's wrong with Secretary Kim should probably be super freaking icky. I mean, honestly.
Well, we've got patrons mentioning like that's why I didn't like Secretary Kim or Business Proposal because of both of those, and that's fair.
Honestly, totally fair. I totally get how some people just cannot get over. I don't blame you. There are certain things that I don't like either, so I totally get it. I would say for me though, that exists in a fantasy space that I am okay with. I mean, Leah, you feel that way too when it comes to, or I don't know, does it bother you?
It doesn't bother me. So I have really moved into a place where I have very few rules when it comes to story and fantasy.
We know.
I'm in my Wilding archive of our own fanfiction era. And there's certain things that I'm just not like, that is not my butter for me. Like, so sexualized violence, things like that are just never going to be my butter.
Right.
Funny things to say out loud. But like when it comes to stuff like, these power dynamics, it doesn't bother me because I know it's not real. And I like the butter of the power dynamics usually enough. I mean, I might get the ick sometimes. But I'm trying to think of one where I've had the ick, and I haven't really. I feel like the only time I kind of had the ick was She Was Pretty, which gave me an overall ick, but it was mostly just kind of like that bummer of how the hero, who's like the CEO type, just doesn't recognize the heroine because she's got red cheeks and some frizzier hair than she had when she was younger. So like that's like her version of like she's all that with like glasses and overalls on. Like somehow that's rendered her unrecognizable in her unattractiveness. And so I mean, like I've had stuff like that, but that had nothing to do with power dynamics. I think power dynamics are hot and fun to play around with. So
I also don't think they get abused. Sorry. I was going to say, I don't think they get abused in K-drama, the power dynamics. And I think that's why it doesn't bother me so much, is it doesn't, I don't know. It's fantasy for me.
Yeah. I mean, theoretically, yes, it's always like a problem, but like in Fantasyland, it doesn't bother me. And especially if the heroine is the CEO, that's even going to be like less of a bother for the most part for me. But it's just not, to me, it's just a trope that I'm going to like, which is like that workplace boss employee relationship. In my real jobs, if I saw like a boss and an employee hooking up, I'd be like, ooh, we got a problem. Like that is a boundary and an issue, but not here.
I think I see boss employee relationship as just another forced proximity trope.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I like it. To me, power dynamics are great. I would say that's actually like not my thing. I actually like usually don't love an an imbalance of that. That's not something I like. But I like boss employee because they're always forced to be together. And that's why I like it, usually, except Business Proposal. Although then they still kind of like were forced to like work together at times. And I like that. I just like, people being forced together in situations where they're like uncomfortable, and that always happens at work. And so I think that's why I like it.
Mm-hmm.
But again, fair.
But
Because
if you get the ick, like you're just gonna get the ick on what you get the ick on. And like you kind of can't getting the ick is a very uncontrollable thing. Like,
right.
You just get the ick.
And I've said before, like once I get the ick, I have a very hard time coming back from it. Very hard time. If like a hero gives me an ick, I almost can't come back and keep on with that drama. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or even like an actor. Sometimes I have a hard time with that too. So.
Well, this was fun. Thank you, patrons, for giving us some great things to talk about tonight. And thank you, everybody, for listening.
Yep.
As Megan bites back
so sorry.
yawn.
I know.
Let us know who you think is going to survive the Squid Game. You might have a different idea.
It's not me. It's not me.
Some people might be like, no, I think you still got it.
I appreciate it, but yeah, it's not me.
I'm curious because I want to know if people think Amy or who would. I mean, I'm assuming most people are like, yeah, Leah will survive. I think. I don't know. You don't like. I'm telling you, I'm not athletic. Maybe I'm just gonna post make a whole post on this because I'm really curious what people think about us. Anyway, okay. Well, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Annyeong.
Annyeong.
Kamsahamnida. Thank you for listening to Afternoona Delight. Where can you find us outside the pod? Head on over to afternoonadelight.com. That's AFTERNOONADELIGHT.com. You'll find links to all our social media, our book recs, K-pop and K-skincare recs, and if you want even more Afternoona Delight, because really who doesn't, you can join our Patreon, where you can choose the patron level that's right for you. Join in daily K-drama conversations, listen to bonus podcast episodes just for patrons, and participate in our monthly live K-drama support group via Zoom. We can't wait for you to be a part of the community. Until next time, annyeong!